More than usual, Pisces, it's very important that you pay attention to any insights or revelations that you experience in the month of February. When we look at the astrology, you are being primed to have some sort of life-changing breakthrough. And very naturally, this is actually leading you to take yourself more seriously. And there could be some sort of commitment that you are making for yourself, perhaps in the form of self-growth or development, or really just committing to achieving your potential or realizing your goals. If you're excited for this month's reading, then definitely be sure to hit like, subscribe, and the bell notification so you can always stay up to date with what's in the cards for you. For those of you who are brand new to this channel, my name is Michael, and I utilize tarot and tropical astrology to intuit monthly forecasts for your zodiac sign. For those of you who are ready for a deep dive, you can book a personal reading or distance Reiki session with me using the link in the description of this video. You can also find links for all of my official social media accounts. I'm only able to put out these videos with all of your continued love and support, so thank you so much for supporting this channel, and I am so excited to see what we have in store for you this February. So right out the gate, we have some pointed messages coming with the Seven of Swords in reverse and the Seven of Cups upright. I'm just going to be really honest with you, Pisces. Some of you have recently recognized how you may have been lying to yourself, or you may not have been seeing certain parts of yourself very clearly. There is kind of this confusing energy, and it's actually sort of making sense because I feel like leading up to a lot of these revelations and breakthroughs that you're very likely going to be having in February, I really get the sense that you've actually been in kind of a confused state, and maybe you're even recognizing some sort of misinterpretation or assumption that you've been making. And I also get the sense that you're really just having some sort of reality check, if I'm being honest. It just feels like right out the gate, like, yeah, this kind of makes sense with what we were just talking about. I am really curious to see what other cards come out for you. We do actually have Pluto now in the sign of Aquarius, and this is what's really helping you change some old patterns, because Aquarius represents your astrological 12th house of your subconscious mind, your habits, usually your bad habits, and even spirituality. And Pluto is a very profound, transformative, and sometimes dramatic energy. And it's actually going to be coming into contact with several planets this month. And all of this is actually happening at 0 degrees in Aquarius. So right at the very beginning here, because Pluto is actually going to be in Aquarius for the next 20 years. It takes a very long time for it to move through a sign, so you are coming into a new era, and your intuition could actually be giving you some sort of insight or preview of what is to come. So really pay attention here. And maybe even especially on the 5th of February, when Mercury is the first planet to make contact with Pluto this month, and it's a very kind of informative time. There could be a really important conversation or just some sort of idea that becomes crystallized for you. It's actually going to be followed by Mars and Venus as well. So the way that you take action and the things that you value are also going to be really kind of something that you are psychoanalyzing or looking at on a very subconscious or subtle level. We do actually have the Ace of Wands in reverse here as well. Some of you are really addressing that maybe the reason you're having a hard time with something is because you just lost passion for it, or you've just kind of lost your energy. You're in a sort of depleted state. And that's part of this truth that you need to admit to yourself. You're kind of just coasting a little bit, or not even coasting, it's kind of like dragging. And it just feels like, yeah, you really want to reconnect with this passion, with the King of Wands. And I think that's actually something that you are doing this month. And I'm really looking at this lightning bolt in the King or Father of Wands here. And it feels like there is some sort of awakening. And I'm really looking at this cobra, and it feels like there is actually something that comes to you in meditation, which actually does make a lot of sense. Excuse me. It makes a lot of sense because I feel like this is actually a really good month for you to reflect and to meditate and introspect. And some of you are actually really returning to a spiritual or even magical practice, is what I'm getting here as well. And it's like, I really feel like, Pisces, you know what it is that works for you, what it is that you need to do to kind of get yourself out of a rut, or how to move forward next. But it's almost like you pretend like you don't, or you don't always realize it. There's something that's just on the periphery of your consciousness at the beginning of February, and I think it's going to become very clear pretty early on this month. Whatever has kind of been eluding you, or whatever hasn't felt clear, I think there is just like a big clarification, and it actually does feel very tied with your passion or your motivations, and what it is that you want to achieve. What else do we have for Pisces here? We do have a new moon in Aquarius as well, and this is actually a really good time to do manifestation, to maybe commit to meditation or spiritual practice, or recommit perhaps. And actually, I really feel like with this new moon in Aquarius, being in your 12th house, it's very much about envisioning. And there's actually something called SATS, which is state akin to sleep. When you're kind of falling asleep, this is a really good time to manifest, really engaging all the senses, visualizing, hearing, bringing in all these sensations in your manifestations, because I feel like that's something that could be very powerful for you. I feel like you're actually kind of rediscovering your spiritual power this month, and it might feel like something that has kind of escaped you. Wow, yeah, the sun. There is a lot of revelation, there's a lot of clarity, and there's a big shift and life force here. And like, I feel like you're just being very honest with yourself, or you're kind of recognizing what habits are no longer serving you. I feel like for you, Pisces, it's really important for you to look back on your life and really think about when you felt your best. When did you feel most aligned spiritually? When did you feel most vibrant? And look at what you were doing. How did you take care of yourself? What was your day structured like? How can you kind of incorporate some of those things now? It feels like it's important to reconnect in that way. Because again, I really feel like I'm just getting this energy, this impression that you already know what it is that you need to do to get into alignment or to move forward in your life. I just see this beautiful, beautiful energy here. And I think also with a lot of activation with Taurus and Jupiter in your third house of your mind and communication, there are a lot of expansive conversations, but again, revelations here as well too. I really get the sense that there is a lot that is kind of bubbling up from your subconscious mind, and it's like you're kind of remembering things that have sort of eluded you, but they feel so obvious at the same time. Like, how did I forget that? Oh, right. I remember how important that was to me. That sort of thing. It feels like, yeah, it feels like there's something that seems obvious, but for some reason it's just kind of left you, Pisces, or you just haven't been able to see it. You've been in sort of a fog, and maybe you've kind of been in this state of searching and seeking, but there's actually something inside of you. The answer is inside of you, and I know that's so cliche, but I really have that. And it's funny because as I was getting on to your reading, I was almost like, I don't feel like Pisces really needs this reading. Just being honest, like that is something that I felt, and it kind of feels like the message that's coming through now. So that's interesting. Maybe this is just confirmation for you. I really do encourage you to kind of spend some time to go within. Really take some time to meditate, to reflect. That's going to be very powerful, especially as we are leading into your season, and especially for those of you who have your sun in Pisces, who have a birthday coming up. I really do find that the season before our birthday does tend to be a very reflective time. And especially if you're a Pisces rising, all of this applies to, or even Pisces moon. But I really get the sense like there's just kind of this taking stock, there's a reviewing, there's a recollection here. And we have the Page of Wands. Again, coming back to some simple passion, some simple creativity, or just like when you felt vibrant. I'm really getting reconnecting with youth, actually. So maybe some of you are doing some inner child work, or again, maybe some of you are just connecting with a younger version of yourself. And like, it's almost like there's some sort of wisdom there. I feel like a lot of the time people talk about looking back on their life and maybe like reading an old journal or just kind of finding something and like cringing, like, oh my God, I can't believe I thought that then. I'm actually getting a really specific and different energy for you, Pisces, where it's almost like you're looking back at to a different point and you're like, actually, I kind of had shit figured out, whether I realized it fully or not, whether I truly understood it. I actually did have some answer or some really profound insight. What else do we have for Pisces? Whoops. What do we have for Pisces? Show us clearly, please. We do actually have a full moon in Virgo this month as well. That's going to be happening on the 24th, which could be signifying some sort of peak or change that is happening in a relationship. There's just a very big energy, but actually this full moon is harmoniously joining or trining with Jupiter in Taurus. And so I feel like there's a lot of healing conversations. You're feeling closer to someone by having a heart-to-heart conversation with them, especially if things have kind of felt out of balance in a really close relationship with the Six of Pentacles. I feel like it's important that you have those conversations. Show us clearly what is actually going on with this full moon for Pisces. Wow. Page of Swords kind of flashed out here, which is literally about communication. Tell us more about the full moon for Pisces. Ace of Swords. Yeah, okay, so I do feel like there's an important conversation that's happening, but honestly, I feel like it doesn't feel like a breakup. It doesn't feel like an ending. It feels like working on something and kind of like a meeting of the minds. And the High Priestess. Really kind of fostering spiritual connections, really listening and honoring your intuition. And you know, the High Priestess actually can represent your own energy. It can also represent Cancer energy. So maybe some of you are connecting with the Cancer. But I'm actually feeling like some of you are just connecting with yourself. I really feel like a lot of you are quite spiritual, and not just because you're a Pisces. Like, I feel like for some reason I'm connecting with a group of teachers or guides or mentors. And that's kind of like a role that, like, you fill it whether you do that in some formal sense or not. Like, it doesn't matter what you do for work. Like, you just have really good advice for people. And it's like you're taking your own advice. I think that's what this is really saying. And we do have the Lovers here. Yeah, I feel like there's a really important heart-to-heart conversation. And it's like, I feel like there is a lot of love in the air for you. I'm really feeling like some of you are connecting with a soulmate or like just appreciating a relationship that you're in. It's like getting back to the heart of like, oh yeah, this is why I love this person. Or really just finding someone who has a quality that just feels so right. Anything else for Pisces? Anything else for Pisces for the month of February? We have Temperance, healing, alchemy, patience. There's a process that you are going through, and I really do feel like there is this message of self-improvement here as well. And this really makes sense because the last day of February, on the 28th, we have the Sun and Mercury in conjunction with Saturn in your sign. And this is about being serious, making commitments. And I feel like you are not just saying you want to do something or change something about yourself. It's a really powerful time to actually commit to it, to commit to your growth, to your self-actualization. And it just feels so beautiful. There's a lot of healing. There's a lot of harmony. Any other messages for Pisces? What is the energy for Pisces to embody? We have this Scorpion. Interesting. This is kind of a pointed energy and just being very honest. And it's actually interesting because I know the book kind of talks about when this card comes up, sometimes there's just a conversation you need to have before it blows up and becomes a bigger deal. That might be something that you do with the full moon in Virgo on the 24th. So it's important that you have those conversations and are just very honest with yourself, and you kind of just deal with it before it becomes something bigger. But honestly, Pisces, I really feel like there's some really beautiful energy for you this month. I feel like there's a lot of growth and transformation, and there's really a lot even deepening in your relationships with others or someone really important to you. So I think there's a lot of things to look forward to here. I am going to end it because the battery is just about to die. So thank you so much for watching this. Definitely be sure to hit like and subscribe if it resonated. You can find all of the links in the description of this video for personal readings and distance Reiki sessions. And I will see you all in the next video. And I'm wishing all of you who have a birthday this month a very happy birthday. Take care.